Did you play any Ketan? I don't see it. I can see the screen. Good, good. We can hear it. We can hear it.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hi, Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Please accept my respectful obeisances. Uh, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to our ISKCON of Bergen County Wednesday Sangha. Hope everyone is having a nice week so far. We have a very special guest with us tonight, His Holiness Bhakti Prabhav Swami. A quick introduction about Maharaj. So His Holiness Bhakti Prabhav Swami, born in Brussels, Belgium in 1960. He met the devotees in Ghent in 1992 and began preaching through Namahata before joining the Radhadesh temple in 1996. Maharaj is a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Charya Swami, and he received his first initiation in 1998 and his second initiation in 1999 and sannyas initiation in 2015. Over the years, Maharaj has held various key roles in ISKCON, including Secretary for the European RGB and the Global GBC body. Maharaj has played a pivotal role in organizing leadership meetings and managing projects like Radha Desh and New Mayapur, earning a Global Excellence Award in 2006. Maharaj also opened an ISKCON center in Brussels and supported legal and administrative initiatives in Europe. In addition to his managerial contributions, Maharaj has excelled in academics, earning an MA and PhD in the study of religion in 2016. He has taught Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, and Bhakti Vedanta courses since 2012, serving institutions like the Mayapur Institute, VIHE, and ISKCON Bhagavad Mahavidyalaya. Maharaj is a member of ISKCON's Shastric Advisory Council as well as other committees, and he has been a dedicated preacher since 1996, delivering seminars and lectures internationally while mentoring students worldwide. So we feel very fortunate to have Maharaj with us tonight. So let us all welcome Maharaj by coming off mute and loudly chanting one Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Maharaj, over to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm happy to be with you online, and today I would speak on how to become steady in your Krishna conscious practice. But before I start speaking, I need blessings. Om Jnana Timanasya Jnanansla Shalakam Saksharan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Chitchetanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhuttale Svamarupakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shio Shiyuda Padakamalam Shiram Vaishnavamsha Shiyopam Charachatam Saganaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savrutam Paricham Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shivishakam Vitam Shah Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Chatpate Gopesha Kopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhana Sutadevi Pranamama Haripaye Vankha Kalpta Visha Kripasna Bevisha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnabhyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravanya Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskachai Dasatarane Srila Prabhupada Ki. So to be steady in our Krishna consciousness practice, we need determination. And I would like to read a few answers of Srila Prabhupada on questions of a devotee about determination. The devotee has asked, asks Srila Prabhupada. So is there ever for someone whose determination wavers and slackens here and there, is there ever a point where the devotee is in danger of just forgetting everything and falling, tumbling completely back? Prabhupada replied, everyone is a neophyte. He should practice determination, that's all. If he cannot practice, then why should he enter into this association? Let him remain aloof. One who has entered with the determination that I must practice. So if he cannot practice, then why is he making a show that I belong to the Krishna conscious movement? I'm initiated. Why this farce? We must practice with determination. That by practicing I'll be successful. That is wanted. He has no determination. Why should he make a show? So, Drita Vrata, Bhajanti Mam Drita Vrataha. Drita Vrata, that is wanted, determination, that Bhajanti Mam Drita Vrataha. So when one is determined, his success is assured. If he is not determined, then success or failure. The devotee asked, can one develop determination gradually? Prabhupada, why gradually? When you promise before your spiritual master that no illicit sex, no gambling, no meeting, why should you fall down? If you have no determination, why should you promise in the presence of the deity, fire, spiritual master, Vaishnavas? Why do you make this farce if you have no determination? No determination that if you want to make it a farce, that depends on you, but you should not. The devotee asked, when we make that promise, but Prabhupada interrupted and said, yes, you should not fall down, that is determination. That is gentleman's determination that I've given my promise. Why shall I fall down? That is determination. I must respect promise. This is called Drita Vrata. So here succeed. Where is the difficulty? There is no difficulty. But if we want to cheat, that is another thing. If we have no determination, we should not take up this life. Therefore, chance is given. Stay with us for 6 months, 1 year, and be determined. Then be initiated. If you are not determined, what is the use of false initiation? Srila Prabhupada is speaking here about determination, especially in the sense of following the regulative principles. But that is one side. That's the negative side. We need also to be studying our Krishna conscious practice. We need determination to engage in devotional service. And Lord Krishna speaks about that. In the Bhagavad Gita. I have here on the screen verse 7:28. And I'd like to read first this verse and the purport. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yesam Tvantragatam Papam Shananam Punya Karmanam Tedvantvamwanich Mukta Bhajante Mam Drita Vrata. the translation. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives, in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are free from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. So Krishna speaks here about the conditions that we have to create to engage in his service with determination. That we must be completely free from the dualities of delusion. Dualities of delusion is the duality of good and bad. Good for the body, bad for the body. And this absorption in these dualities hampers our engagement in devotional service. Instead of engaging us in the dualities of good and bad for the body, we must engage in the dualities of good and bad for the soul. Good and bad for Krishna consciousness. But to come even to that point, to be attracted to Krishna consciousness, one must have acted in previous lives piously. Now, we will read a short purport that those eligible for elevation to the transcendental position are mentioned in this verse. For those who are sinful, atheistic, foolish, and deceitful, it is very difficult to transcend the duality of desire and hate. Only those who have passed their life in practicing the regulative principles of religion, who have acted piously, who have conquered sinful reactions, can accept devotional service and gradually rise to the pure knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then gradually they can meditate in trance on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the process of being situated on the spiritual platform. This elevation is possible in Krishna consciousness, in the association of pure devotees, for in the association of great devotees one can be delivered from delusion. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.2. These are the teachings of King Rishabhadev. That it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.2 that if one actually wants to be liberated, he must render service to the devotees. Mahat sevantvaram aho vimukte. But one who associates with materialistic people is on the path leading to the darkest region of existence. Tamod varamyosta sangha sangam. All the devotees of the Lord traverse this earth just to recover the conditioned souls from their delusion. The impersonalists do not know that forgetting their constitutional position as subordinate to the Supreme Lord is the greatest violation of God's law. Unless one is reinstated in his own constitutional position, it is not possible to understand the Supreme Personality or to be engaged in transcendental loving service with determination. So that is the purport. So what we hear in this verse is that when you are pious, you do pious activities, you are attracted to Krishna consciousness. But what does it mean? That we see that proportionally more Indians take to Krishna consciousness than other people. that of course in Bharat Bhumi, not everyone in India is pious. Kamsa was also Indian. But many are pious. That of course most Westerners of people from other country are not so pious. There's certain culture differences. But Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Shaturvida bhajanti mam jnana sukritin arjuna. Achtojichnasa achtarti jnanasa bharatar. Krishna says there are 4 pious people who are interested in Krishna consciousness. That does not mean they are practicing Krishna consciousness, but they are good candidates. That to get determination in Krishna consciousness, one must practice unalloyed devotional service. And they have not yet that determination to come to unalloyed devotional service. There are 4 kinds of pious men who come to Krishna consciousness, who come to render service, but they have their motives. The distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and those who are searching for the absolute. Yes, but piety is not sufficient. Just piety to get determination in Krishna consciousness. Rupa Goswami speaks about Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhav. That's like the Sanskrit for Krishna consciousness. That also Krishna Bhavanam. But Rupa Goswami said it's not only piety that one needs. That he speaks about in a verse. He says if Krishna consciousness is sold, we should purchase it. But do you need to purchase Krishna consciousness? You need tattva laulyam. Laulyam is sweet. So this word laulyam is not always used in a positive sense, but here it is sweet to get Krishna consciousness. So one who has Sukriti, he can take to Krishna consciousness, but that Sukriti is not enough to take to Krishna consciousness. It is said here in this verse, one must be free from the dualities of happiness and distress. So punya karma is not enough to take to bhakti. Many are very pious and they worship demigods to go to heaven. But that's not bhakti. They go to heaven to take Krishna's position as the enjoyer. And that's also punya. But in the beginning, to come to bhakti, one needs this laulyam. It is said here the jnani is the best. Because the jnani, Baunam jnanamate jnanamama papachate vasdev sarvamiti samatmas dulba. After many births he understands, I have to take the Krishna consciousness because I'm a servant of Krishna. So that knowledge is required to cultivate that greed, that to have Krishna consciousness. That the knowledge of our real position as a spirit soul. That knowledge is called Sambandha Jnana. So what makes us study in devotional service? That important is we get taste in devotional service. That what prevents us to get taste in our chanting? What prevents us to get taste and satisfaction in our devotional service? That if we don't get satisfaction, it means something is wrong. We are not practicing correctly. That if we practice it correctly, you get the taste. In the Bhagavatam there is a verse that explains how to get taste, how to become attracted to Krishna consciousness. It's an important verse from the second chapter, from the first canto. It's presented by Sutta Goswami. He says, Susrusha Shadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syanmat Sevyavipra Punyatirtha Nishevanat. So, this verse explains how we become attracted, how we get taste for hearing about Krishna. And it says Susrusha. Susrusha means hearing, but Shadadanasya, many times it's translated Shad as faith, but here Prabhupada translates it different. He says that he translates it as care and attention. One should hear with care and attention. That Syan, Susrusha, and what should one hear? One should hear Vasudeva Katha. And when one hears Vasudeva Katha, then one gets ruchi, taste. But one gets that taste only if one combines it with the following line, that Susrusha Dansya Vasudeva Katha ruchi Syanmat Sevya Pipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. Syanmat Sevyafi. One must do seva for the Mahatma, for the spiritual master. So, Susrusha Dansya Vasudeva Katha ruchi Syanmat Sevyavipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. So that's the real punya, that the hearing from the spiritual master about Krishna and the Bhagavatam, and serving the mission of the spiritual master. That both must be there, and that combination produces taste for hearing about Krishna. That taste we need to be studying our devotional service. That nourishes us. And because when we get that taste, Krishna says in the next verse, Shrimvatas Vakatakusha Punya Shravana Kirtana Idyantato Yabatrone Vidunote Sritsatam, says, when I see that my devotee has taste for hearing about me, from within his heart I purify him from all ignorance. And if we become purified from all ignorance, how do we know we become purified? That we chant. The chanting have 3 stages, according to Harinam Chintamani. The apparat stage, the clearing stage of Namabhas, and the Sudanam. One would chant in the clearing stage, the Namabhas. One of the characteristics is that one gets more taste for chanting. More taste comes, because one becomes purified. But one must give up first the apparat, that the offenses against the holy name. So taste means first we give up the sinful activities, and that the quote we heard in the beginning was following the 4 relative principles. If we are not following these 4 relative principles, then no taste is coming. It's not possible. If you follow the 4 relative principles, then we chant, but it's combined with hearing about Krishna and following the order of the spiritual master. And then we can chant and experience this taste. Taste is one of the main indicators that we become purified. If we chant and we don't feel taste, we don't have taste for chanting, it means we are not becoming purified. That is an indication. Then we need to question ourselves. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he was working in his room in a temple, and devotees outside the temple were discussing some things. And then Maharaj came outside his room and he asked the devotees, "What are you discussing?" And the devotee said, "Oh Guru Maharaj, I'm chanting now for such a long time, and I feel I'm not making any advancement." And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj said, "That's very good. If you would think that you make advancement and you become a great devotee, that would not be so good." But yes, if you chant and still you don't feel after a long time of chanting no effect, then we have to question ourselves. What am I doing wrong? Why am I not making advancement? The answer to that question is, that is what Bhakti Charuma had said about this. He said, if you feel you are not making advancement, then you have to ask yourself the question, did I surrender sufficiently to Krishna? So did I surrender? If not, then I should surrender more. So what is very important here is that to make advancement and to be determined in our daily practice, we have to know at what stage we are of advancement. And then when we know that, we have to go from one stage to another. Like Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he discusses that in Madhurya Kanambini, based on Rupa Goswami's verse, which describes the process of devotional service from Shraddha to Prema. And now, one aspect that is that when we are not making advancement, we have to know what stage that we are. And how can we know that? We gave already one indication. So, am I in the clearing stage while chanting and practicing devotional service? Then you have to ask the question, do I have taste? If we don't have taste, we are not in the clearing stage. Because it's an indicator. If you are chanting and your heart becomes cleansed of this duality, then you get taste. Taste increases day by day. So we have the stage of Shraddha. In the beginning we hear from a Swami of some Sunday lecture, and we become interested in Krishna consciousness. That interest itself means you have done some piety. You have some piety. But that may be not the piety that makes you practice Krishna consciousness and get determination. Like I explained, piety of going to heaven, that will not help you to get a determination in Krishna consciousness. So what makes that one takes to Krishna consciousness? That it's not only piety, it is piety in related to Krishna consciousness. That I wondered for a long time why I came attracted to Krishna consciousness. In 1981, I was a young man at that time, 20 years old, and I had a friend, he was an artist, and we went together. We were in Antwerp in Belgium. We were going together to a folk concert of the Dubliners, a folk group. And we were walking in the city center, and for the first time in my life I saw a devotee. He was dressed in white. He was distributing magazines. I had no idea who they were, but my friend knew. They said, these are the Hare Krishnas. And he was an artist, and he said, they have very fine art. You should buy a magazine from them. But I looked at the devotee, and there came a grandma with her granddaughter on her hand. And she saw the devotee, and she went around it like, this is the devil. And in my heart I was thinking, what did this person do wrong? And I started to defend this devotee in my heart. And then I bought a magazine from him. And I see that still that was my piety, that was the beginning. Unconsciously I was this was Agyata Sukriti. In my heart I was defending this devotee, and that pleased Krishna. And that was the beginning. So piety must be in connection with Krishna. And then we will become attracted. Piety is not always the cause of coming in contact with Krishna consciousness, because it's material. That is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. The cause of Krishna consciousness is not piety, because piety is material. How can something material being the cause of bhakti? It's not possible. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur analyzes it and said, what is the cause of piety? And he describes in Madhurya Kanambini. He says the cause of piety is Krishna's pure devotee. Bhakti comes from bhakti. You can only get bhakti from one who has bhakti. And it describes further that Krishna delegates the power to give bhakti to his pure devotee. And a pure devotee can decide to give bhakti. There is this verse in the Bhagavatam at the end of the third canto that is the end of the teachings of Kapila Dev. Yeah, it's the verse 333:6. Yanamadeya Shanavanu Kirtanat. No, it's the next verse. 333:7. Haobatasva patoto karyan yachich varhe vartati namatubhyam. Tepustapaste suvursas nuraryam Brahmanochunamichanantite. This verse says those who chant the holy name of Krishna, even if they are born in family of dog eaters, they must have executed, because they chant the holy name, they must have executed in their previous life all fire sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas. They have developed all good manners of the Aryans. They must have bathed in all holy places, studies of the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. Prabhupada, the devotee asked Prabhupada, he was quoting this verse, that did we really do that in our previous lives? And Prabhupada replied, don't worry about that. I did it for you. So this means it's only the mercy of pure devotee by coming in contact with a pure devotee. And if you please a pure devotee, even unconsciously, that's the real Agyata Sukriti. This is the cause of bhakti. But then the question remains how to get determination in your daily practice. So the main point, of course there are other points to discuss, but we need the power to remain, and the ability to maintain a nice sadhana in practice. but that comes from taste. And we get that taste when we become purified. So the process, Shraddha, we have some faith, that, and then Sadhu Sangha, we associate with devotees. From the devotees, we learn Bhajana Kriya to perform devotional service. And in the beginning, this Bhajana Kriya is anistita. It's unsteady. And that's the neophyte. And it is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives 6 types of unsteadiness and discusses them. A little too long to go through them. But once one is studying devotional service, then one comes to Nishtita Bhakti. Nishtita Bhajana Kriya. One becomes steady in one's devotional service. One chants 1 rounds, everyday puja, everyday hearing the Bhagavatam and so on. Then the question is, if you are studying your practice like that, are you becoming purified? And that's an important question. That even if you are studying your practice, you may not become purified. Because to become purified, you must give up the offenses against the holy name. The offenses. And why are we making these offenses? Haridas Thakur explains, we are making these offenses because we are not surrendered to Krishna, not situated in our natural position as a servant of Krishna. And to get taste, we must be situated first in our position as a servant of Krishna, understanding that position. That's called Sambandha Jnana. We must give up the offenses and then we must open our heart for Krishna. Now, all different things but important is, as Rupa Goswami said, the greed. The greed should be there to get Krishna prema, to get his love for Krishna. That if we are practicing with, and the next point also is purity in desire, our motive. So these are all important points. That giving up the offenses, being situated in Sambandha Jnana. Haridas Thakur said, if you are not situated in Sambandha Jnana, you are not chanting Namabhas, you will not become purified. So that's, and so yes, these are all important aspects to get taste in devotional service, is to learn to practice Krishna consciousness in an appropriate way, with an inner appropriate attitude. And that attitude is explained in a nutshell by Lord Chaitanya. Trinata Pishnechna Tarora Visishna Mana Manadana Kirtanya Sudari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavta Vachi Sekami Mamacha Mamicha Mishmai Bhavta Bhaktira Hait Kitvai. So if we develop this mentality, become in Sambandha Gyan, situated as a servant of Krishna. We must give up all honor, give all of our honor to others, tolerant, that humble, that don't want wealth, don't want followers, don't want association with the opposite sex, don't want liberation even, wanting to serve Krishna, birth after birth. So this is the formula, and that formula that will help us to give up these offenses against the holy name. If we can give up the offenses against the holy name, then we come out of this duality of delusion. Because we make these offenses because of the bodily concept of life, which is based on on what is good and bad for the body. So we have to live besides these motivations. Purity is a force, Srila Prabhupada said. And this purity will help us to advance. But to learn these aspects, so the first aspect was give up the offensive mentality, which is based on forms of respect, disrespect towards the holy name, disrespect towards the Vedic scriptures, disrespect towards the spiritual master, disrespect towards devotees. So we have to learn how to respect. Then we learn how to respect when we are situated in our original spiritual position. Identifying as the soul means identifying as a servant of Krishna. Gopi Bhakta Kamala Das. And when we come to that point, then when we chant, we will get taste. And this dahlia will develop. And we'll start making advancement. So we have many times seen that if we perform devotional service with material motives, we are not becoming purified. Because it's offensive. But we become a little purified, but not much. The potency of the holy name will not manifest, although the holy name is Krishna. But the best way to learn, is reading Prabhupada's books daily. And that's important. If we read Prabhupada's books daily, then we will develop this inner attitude and give up these offenses gradually, and become humble and take the position as a servant of the spiritual master. And then gradually taste will come, that we come out of these dualities. This includes learning to forgive others for minor offenses, Srila Prabhupada. Because if we keep a grudge towards people or devotees, then that will always come into our mind and close our heart for Krishna's mercy and the purification of our heart. So this art we must learn by hearing the Bhagavatam. Just by hearing the Bhagavatam, I think it's 177. This is Narada Muni speaking to Srila Vyasadeva. Yeah. Yeah, 177. When one gives oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling of loving devotion service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fear. That means you become purified. So therefore it's so important to combine the hearing of the Bhagavatam Bhagavad Gita daily and with the chanting and doing service. These three things should be there. When I was married, I was getting up at 3:30 in the morning, taking a shower, and I was driving to the temple, Namahata, which was 50 minutes drive, and I was there around 4:30. We had Mangalarti, and after very short hall before Gaurnitai and Tulsi Puja very short, but then we would read one verse of the Bhagavatam and one purport, and one verse of Bhagavad Gita and one purport, and 5:30 was finished. I was driving home, waking up my children and my wife, and then I was driving to my job, and I was working the whole day, but I tried to focus during the day because I was an accountant. I was doing input in the computer documents, and I was reading, and at the same time I was memorizing verses of Bhagavad Gita. Just that I memorized some verses which I still know today. That was 35 years ago. And then in the evening, I would finish my rounds. I would cook for the next morning, but otherwise I would not have prasad. And then I was reading in the evening the Bhagavatam. I was reading 10 pages every evening. And 10 verses and purport, something like that. And in 4 years' times I went through the whole Bhagavatam just by reading in the evening. So everyone's situation is different, but it's important to organize our life that we are steadily hearing about Krishna. And because then in the weekends I was doing service for the temple, so many things in the beginning. But I was also married, that I tried to do my duty. So it's not impossible to have a good sadhana, but essential in it is we must know the goal. If you don't have taste, you have to think something wrong. But the greatest way, the greatest fortune you can get is association with devotees. Associate with devotees who have taste, you will become affected. So therefore association is so important. Association will give us the taste and will give you the ability to maintain yourself, to maintain a good sadhana. If you have a good sadhana in the morning and in the evening, during the day you are protected. You get spiritual power. You will not be so affected as other people. So I try to explain the main principles of how to get taste, because taste will give you the determination to continue that. And and become more enthusiastic. Of course, there is much more to say about that subject matter, but yes, that's this taste. Prabhupada quotes this verse that we have become Mahatmas tu Mamparta Devim Pragati Ashvita. So the Mahatma knows how to connect with the spiritual energy. And determination or in the devotional service, or the ability to engage in devotional service, that means the ability to know how to connect with Krishna at every moment. Of course, our main method is Satatam Kirtiyantamam Yadanta Sadritavatra. We must hear about Krishna with great determination. And that's the cause of our determination. If we will hear, we will be able to give up the offenses. If we hear, we will come and be situated in Sambandha Jnana. If we associate with devotees, then our understanding will go deeper. That we will be able to have this, to develop this ability and to maintain a nice sadhana, to maintain and remain connected with Krishna consciousness. That I was for many years in the UK, in Leicester, and I was during 4 or 5 years there was no temple because the previous temple exploded. It was an explosion. We lost the temple. And as a brahmachari, I was living in the houses of devotees. And usually they were sleeping till 5, 6. I was getting up at 3 o'clock and I chanted my rounds. I did the whole morning program on my own. And that determination, that ability is required. And that gives you power, taste. So I hope this talk helped you. Are there any questions, comments, please?
Thank you, Maharaj, for the wonderful talk on how to have determination in Krishna consciousness. And I think you shared some nice insights on how the determination comes through taste and the reason why we don't get taste and how we can get taste. And I'm sure some devotees might have questions as well. But before we jump into Q&A, Maharaj, is it okay if I just quickly share my screen? We have a couple of announcements to make, and then we can jump into Q&A. Is that okay?
Please do.
Thank you. Give me 1 second. I'll share my screen. Okay, I hope everyone's able to see my screen. So for those who may not be aware, this is our official ISKCON of Bergen website. Actually, yeah, I hope I'm sharing the right screen. Let me check. Yeah. These are all the programs we conduct. So today we have Maharaj speaking on the Wednesday Sangha. Sunday we have our Sunday Love Feast. We also have a weekly Bhakti Vriksha program on Fridays. So if you have family or friends who'd like to get connected, please let us know, and then depending upon which part of New Jersey they are in, we can connect them to our Bhakti Vrikshas. You can either talk to Ramchandra Prabhu or Ram Tulsi Prabhu, and we should be able to assist and connect them. We also have a Bhagavad Gita reading from Monday to Friday from 12 to 12:15, so usually during lunchtime at work, for those who may be available. And then Maharaj was mentioning about the importance of chanting in the morning and how that protects us, during the day. So we also have a chanting, a japa session every morning from 6 to 8. And we also have the ISKCON calendar here, which has a list of all the festivals, Ekadashi, just for easy access. And if you have missed any of the previous programs or recordings and you'd like to go back and hear them again, we have these recordings also on our ISKCON or Bergen website. So with that, I'll stop sharing my screen and I think we can jump into Q&A. You can either come off of mute or you can put your question in the chat and I can read it out for you. But I see Gopal Govind Prabhu has his hand raised. Gopal Prabhu, do you want to come off mute and ask your question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for very beautiful class and important messages and secrets of getting the love for chanting. I have a question about you mentioned one has to have a sambandha. Without the sambandh, it is difficult to get to the namabhas. So, being a practitioner and a naive practitioner, it's hard to have a fixed sambandha with the Lord. And if the sambandha is like more swinging from like being as a servant or being as a friend or whatever the situation be, then what are some of the things one should do so that there is a realization for the true sambandha and then get the namabhas?
Yeah, thank you for your question, Gopal Govindapur. That Sambandha Gyan means knowledge of our relationship with Krishna. This is three aspects: knowing who Krishna is, knowing who we are, and knowing what our relationship is with Krishna. That relationship is devotional service. That this Sambandha Gyan we get from the spiritual master, from the scriptures. But it is not just simply understanding these facts, but no really get a deeper meaning of it. But factually, this will lead us to realization of our real position. And I want to read you a prayer written by someone, by a devotee, a very nice devotee, and a prayer that helps us to come in that mood of Sambandha Gyan. I will share my screen. This is from a document that I'm working on. It's a book I'm writing. We are going to the beginning. There you have it's chapter 9, the importance of Sambandha Gyan. And I will read you this prayer to help establish Sambandha. So I will read it to you, and hopefully that will give you a feeling what is meant by Sambandha Gyan, the mood you must adopt before chanting. So I'm reading it. O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somewhere or other, I've fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. This state of mindfulness does not come automatically for a conditioned soul. We need to make a conscious effort. Anyway, that's my comment, but I continue with the prayer. I'm an eternal servant of Krishna, but due to ignorance I've gone astray and become lost in this world, forgetting my eternal relationship with the Lord. I've identified myself with the body, thinking that my bodily relationships and my work to maintain this body are most important. Like this, I have passed one lifetime after another in various species. Since time immemorial, I've been wandering in the cycle of repeated birth and death, suffering various miseries. Now, by the mercy of the devotees of Krishna, I've learned that I'm an eternal spiritual being and that I have nothing to do with this world. I'm completely different from my gross and subtle material body. I have an eternal life with Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world, which is my real home. My eternal family and friends are waiting for me to come back so that we can once again blissfully serve Radha and Krishna together. I deeply long for this. I'm so fortunate that my path back to the spiritual world has become clear. The Lord has personally come in the form of His holy names to dispel my illusion, revive my eternal relationship with Him, and take me back home. I let go of this material world and everything in it. There is nothing for me to do here. I hold tight to the holy name so that nothing can get in between us, and I serve Him with all my heart by chanting with full attention and complete dependence. So that's a prayer that helps us to realize our position. Usually when we chant, we become absorbed in so many things, but not in Krishna. And that's because of absorption in the duality of this world. And it's all temporary, it's useless, but we become absorbed in it. And if we become absorbed in it, it means we are not situated in Sambandha Gyan. We are not giving priority to Krishna in the holy name. So I hope that will give you an idea of what's meant here with Sambandha Gyan. Does that help, Gopal Govind Prabhu?
Yes, thank you, Maharaj. That was wonderful, and it definitely helps me to understand it. And I'll do my best to learn from these prayers. Hare Krishna, please accept my obeisances.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Gopal Govind Prabhu. Does anybody have any other questions? Again, feel free to either raise your hand or put your question in the chat, and I can read it for you if you like.
Okay. There are no further questions. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you much.
I'm looking forward to serve you next time.
Yeah, if there are no other questions, we would like to once again thank His Holiness Bhakti Prabhav Swami Maharaj for taking time and sharing such nice wisdom with all of us. We would also like to thank all the devotees for joining today's session. Let us thank Maharaj once more by coming off mute and just chant one Hare Krishna mantra together, if possible. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. One final announcement before everybody drops. So this Sunday we have a special guest, His Grace Dhruva Prabhu. And for those who may not know, Dhruva Prabhu is a well-known devotee of Lord Nrsimhadev. He spent his entire life pretty much serving Lord Nrsimhadev, so you can expect some nice pastimes about Lord Nrsimhadev this Sunday. So if you were not planning, then please try to think again and try to come for this Sunday feast program. Starts at 4:30 p.m. And we can expect some nice nectar and some nice pastime about Lord Nrsimhadev. With that, again, thank you, Maharaj, from all of us, Bergen County, and thank you all the devotees for taking the time for joining today's session. We wish you a good rest of the week and have a good night. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.